Hey guys, it's the Apprenticeship outsider here. Honestly, mate, I was just about to film this video and I just thought in my head of saying that. And I don't know why that was just too funny for me, man. I don't know. Maybe no one laughed. I just found that funny. Yeah, it's the Apprenticeship Insider here. And today today we're going to be going through video interview responses, okay? So Hamza made a post on my free community. If you want to join, it'll be the link in the description. You can just join here for free so you can ask questions. There's like 520 people in here, which is kind of cool. And you can ask questions. We've got people in here already getting offers from Amazon, JP Morgan, companies like that. And in particular, Hamza's put some interview responses that he's done down here. And today we're going to be reviewing them. So hopefully this will give you some advice for your own video interviews and assessment centers when you go into them. So let's just jump straight into it. First question is, tell me a bit about yourself. Let's do it, man.
My name is Hamza Khan. I'm only interested in this apprenticeship opportunity at Schneider. My name is Hamza Khan. I'm only interested in this apprenticeship opportunity at Schneider. During the summer, I had the opportunity of participating in the Turing Summer experience, where I gained valuable insight into the fast evolving world of data science. In addition to this, we also took part in a workshop where we learned about the history of artificial intelligence and concluded with a thought-provoking debate about artificial intelligence, which I found very valuable. Outside of my studies, I participate in competitive sport, having achieved a silver medal at this year's British Championships for wrestling. So yeah, that's just a little bit about myself, and I'm currently pursuing this apprenticeship opportunity at Schneider.
Cool. Okay, so basically everything Hamza actually said there was spot on. So the answer that you said there was really good. It's just the delivery, right? So three things, okay? The first one, I could be bugging out. I'm not sure. I don't know if you're looking at the camera or not, or if you're looking down. I couldn't really tell. So maybe you were looking at the camera. I don't know. It just felt like here, it just kind of looked like you were like looking at the screen and looking at some notes or something. I don't really know. But essentially, lesson for you there is just make sure everyone is looking into the camera as much as possible when you're doing all your interviews. Number one. Number two, let's do number three, but let's just call it right. Number two, right? Energy, right? I've literally written this down in my notes right here, like a specific phrase you said. You said, so it was a thought-provoking debate, which I found very valuable. Like when you said that, I'm just thinking, yeah, it really did sound like a thought-provoking debate, which you found really valuable. It's like, for example, I was doing a mock interview with someone the other day, and they were talking about how like they're excited to like work for Airbus, right? So it was like one of the mock answers, like, yeah, I'm really excited to work for Airbus. But the way you said it was like, and I'm really excited to work for Airbus because you have really exciting projects that really inspire me and make me want to do aerospace engineering. And it's like, sure, like the words you're saying, like those are great words to say, but you also need the delivery with them. So it's like Hamza, there, it's just energy and it's the way you're saying things. It's not. And it was a thought-provoking debate, which I found very valuable because it's like it doesn't sound like it was thought-provoking. Maybe it was. It doesn't sound like it was. What you want to say instead was, hold on, hold on a second. There we go. Okay. Yeah, what you want to say is something like, and I actually attended this thought provoking event, which I found really valuable and I learned a lot. And I'm really excited to join your company because I know that you're actually one of the only companies in the world that has started using artificial intelligence in, right? It's just that sort of energy you want. So on paper, on a transcript, everything you said here was good, Hamza. It's now just energy and like saying it like you're genuinely interested in the things you say you're interested about. Third thing is sort of a body language thing, okay? And this is like a crazy revelation I found out about, like I worked out a couple of weeks ago. You might notice here that your shoulders are sort of moving, okay? It's a tiny thing, but it's a tiny bit off putting. Now, that could be two things. That's either number one, you're just like moving your shoulders around a bit, which don't, okay? Just get into the habit of not doing that, okay? Sort of discipline yourself to not like I'm on a chair right now. I could swing if I wanted to swing, right? Just don't do that, okay? Number one. It could be, so that's one thing it could be. It could be you're just swinging around, just stop doing that, okay? Number two, it could be because you're moving your hands. And now this is something I noticed with with one of the guys in particular who I'm sort of doing one-on-one tutoring with. I basically noticed that I've been doing calls with him for a couple of months now, and I've just one thing has been like something about his body language has been off, and I have like not even the body language, something about his interviews has been off, and I couldn't work out what it was because he's been progressing, his answers have been getting better, been getting more confident, but there was just sort of one thing which has just always felt weird. I couldn't work out what it was, and then about 2 weeks ago I worked it out. Basically, when he was answering, his shoulders would just be like randomly moving like this, like it would just be sort of moving and stuff, right? And I'm just like, and I noticed this in the call. I was like, wait, is that it? And here's what would happen. Basically, he would just be doing an answer and his shoulders would be like moving like that. And it would just be really off putting. Like psychologically, it was just taking so much away from his interviews. I told him to do one thing, and that was to move his hands into the camera. Because I worked out what he'd been doing is he was using his hands. Now, some people use their hands when they talk, some people don't. He had been using his hands, but he'd been using his hands below the camera. You know what? Can I make myself bigger here? Yeah, he'd been moving his hands below the camera. So this might look a tiny bit weird right now. Like it kind of like if you're looking at me right now, it kind of seems like my shoulders are doing some weird thing. I'm like, what's going on right now? Like with my arms, maybe it's a bit off-putting, right? It's because I'm moving my hands, but down here you can't see them, so it just looks like I'm randomly moving my shoulders. So I told him, move your hands up into the camera and use your hands like this. So the reason I want to work for your company is because I saw that, for example, you had a project last year which really interested me, and that's the kind of thing I would like. The moment he did that, body language sorted, the body language is on point. His answers have been progressing, they've been getting really good. So it's like literally that one thing was holding him back. Change that, complete difference, complete game changer. So, for everyone else watching this video, what to do with your hands. Either move them or don't move them, okay? So, in my actual interviews, I actually just left them on the table like this. Okay, I just sort of stayed like this, didn't move. Okay, you know, just like, I don't know, do the tape pose or something, get into the tape pose, just put it on there, you have like the energy flowing around your fingertips and stuff, and then just lock in and do your answer. That's what I did back in the day, okay? And that's absolutely fine, and it's going to look normal. Yeah, they can't see your hands, that's fine. Your shoulders aren't moving though, so it's all okay. Okay? If you do want to use your hands, remember to have them above the camera, because when they're above the camera, it now makes sense because your hands are like going with your like speaking, and your like speaking's going with your shoulders. It all makes sense. It all adds up compared to like some weird. You know, there's like a thing called like the uncanny valley. Massive side note here. Massive side note. Right? I've googled this before. I think I've done this to someone as well. I think I've mentioned this on a call before. Oh, hello. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Uncanny Valley, it's like it's where it happens with these like robot AI. I don't even know what that is. That's like a replica, right? And they make like these robot replicas, but it's essentially it's just not quite good enough. Because if you see like some stupid replica that just looks nothing like a human, like it's not creepy, right? But then you see a real person, obviously normal, but it's when they're slightly below real. Okay, because obviously if they look nothing like humans, you're not going to be scared of them. They're just some stupid robot, right? But it's this valley down here, which is when they get just away from being human, just a tiny bit away from human, it just goes. They look creepy, and it just completely drops off here. And that's like zombies and like weird like android, like you know, like any of you play like video games, and they have like weird android things, and it's kind of like, wait, what's going on here? That's the uncanny valley, and that's sort of what it is with going and having your hands down here. It's like something's going wrong. I don't know what it is, but it looks jarring. So don't do that. Either keep your hands here. That's what I did. Or if you're the kind of person who's a bit more energetic, maybe if I was going into an interview now, potentially I would use my hands more because I'm probably a bit more energetic than I used to be back in the day. So it's just whatever aligns with your personality. Hands up here, like not necessarily up here, but it's like they need to be in the frame or just on the table down here. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. What are your main strengths?
My strengths consist of analytical skills. This means that I can provide valuable solutions to difficult problems and tasks, and I know this is something which I'll be doing at Schneider. Having achieved a grade 7 at GCSE mathematics at the age of 10, and regularly taking part in mathematic competitions such as UK Senior Mathematics Challenge has really helped me develop my problem solving skills and my ability to think analytically, which I would say is one of my main strengths. Moving on, I'm also an effective team player, and during my time volunteering at my local food bank has really forced me to develop my interpersonal skills, and has allowed me to work with different types of people. And I believe that working in a team, communication is also a big factor to team success, and understanding other people's strengths and working with alongside other people. They would describe me as someone who develops strong relationships fast, and I would say that this is one of my strengths. However, I would say my biggest strength is that I'm very adaptable and I'm a quick learner and a big advocate of learning and developing new skills. For example, this past summer I have taken part in a data analyst bootcamp, and As someone who's from a non-technical background, learning the fundamentals of MySQL proved to be quite challenging. However, my passion to learn new skills is something that I believe will be very valuable and important whilst working at a company like Schneider that has plans and goals for the future.
Okay, so essentially, again, that answer was pretty good, right? A lot of the things you need to say there, you basically said. So just to sort of summarize for everyone, this is the what I recommend saying for what are your strengths. Do whatever you want, right? But this is what I recommend to people. This is what I did, which is basically you do a skill, mathematical skills, give an example. For example, when I did the math challenge, how this would help. And this is going to help me in this role because I know there's a lot of mathematical ability required to do the engineering calculations, which I know I'm going to be doing. Now repeat that four times. Choose the 3 to 4 skills which are going to be most helpful for that company. So let's say hypothetically you're in an Amazon interview and you get asked this question. You'd probably want to say leadership as one of your 4 strengths because Amazon really care about leadership, right? A lot of companies, things like creativity or being innovative, that's one. A lot of them care about collaboration and teamwork, so that's another one. Time management, I think, is always a good one for this because time management is a key skill you're going to need to do a degree apprenticeship because you're going to be doing a degree apprenticeship for 20% of the time and you're going to be doing, sorry, that didn't make any sense. You're going to be doing university for 20% of the time and you're going to be doing working for 80% of the time, so you need those time management. So sort of the ones I'd always do are problem solving, communication, collaboration, time management. I want to say I think it was those 4 that I'd usually go with. Skill example, how this would help. I think so. So it's essentially, I think Hamza. I think this one. I think you talked about skill and example. This one, I think you did all 3, and potentially this one you did all 3. I can't remember, but just I know you did examples for all 3. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure if you explicitly said how this would help. You want to explain how this skill is relevant to the role, how it's going to help you doing DTS, investment banking, whatever. Go and do that. Key thing was you didn't do a concluding sentence at the end. Okay, so you sort of just stopped talking. Let's do it again.
Was working at a company like Schneider that be very valuable and important whilst learning the fundamentals of MySQL proved to be quite challenging. However, my passion to learn new skills is something that I believe will be very valuable and important whilst working at a company like Schneider that has plans and goals for the future.
So those are my strengths, and that's how I think they're going to help me in this role. Or you could just say, so those are my strengths. It's just because your final point was still about the MySQL, so you were just finishing it off. Oh, I learned MySQL, and this is going to be really helpful for working for Snyder, which is a company that has goals for the future. So those are my 3 biggest strengths. You just want to end it off really nicely like that. 3 or 4. I'd probably say do 4 here. You spoke for 1 minute 52. Usually you can probably get away with 3 minutes, so you could definitely add in a 4th one there. Same usual things before about eye contact, energy, and all that stuff. I'm just not going to repeat myself because you already know that, okay? Next question. Tell me about a time when you had to be adaptable.
So during the final with running and planning and running a football tournament to a local primary school. And unfortunately, the night before, due to heavy rain, our pitch became waterlogged and unsafe to use. This proved to be quite a challenge. This proved to be a challenging, unforeseen circumstance. However, as someone who is accustomed to unforeseen circumstances, I decided to step up and take action, and I decided to contact the school site team and arrange an alternative arrangement for the primary school uh, children so that we could continue with our practical examination. Following on from this, we managed to secure the school's sports hall, and however, although it was smaller than our pitch which we were originally going to run our football tournament on, we still managed to successfully run our football tournament. And in the end, the children and the staff were quite happy with how we ran our football tournament. And I understand that working at Schneider, unforeseen circumstances are inevitable and will occur with new technologies being adopted with their wide range of services. I understand that being accustomed to unforeseen circumstances and being able to deal with them in a controlled way is vital for success at a company like Schneider.
Okay, essentially just go in more into the action section. So that was how long of an answer? That was like a 1 minute 36 answer. Like I said, these sort of questions you usually have about 3 minutes. So it's going more into action. Basically, your one action was I asked the school to use an alternative location because it was flooded. That was it. You could go into more, so it's like sort of okay. So in this situation, what I did was I kept a level head and I stayed calm and I had a look at all the different options to see what we could do here. And this is where I stepped up and I decided to take charge of the situations. First thing is I wanted to find an alternative site and I was proactive and I found that we could have. I was proactive in checking the schedule for the AstroTurf and I saw that the AstroTurf was free, so we went and got an alternative site for the AstroTurf. Now, once we were on this AstroTurf, I realised that actually the AstroTurf was slightly smaller than the football pitch we were going to go on, which meant we were going to have to change the way we played things. We were initially deciding to do a six-a-side tournament, but now there wasn't really enough space to do that. So this is where I had to use my quick thinking, decision making, and I sort of decided effectively that we were now going to do four-a-side tournaments, 4v4. It also meant there were going to be more teams, okay? So I quickly adapted the timetable for the day to have shorter games to fit in more teams, but I thought that would be more effective. Rather than crowding too many people into a small pitch, let's have smaller games, let's have shorter games, but let's have more games, and that means everyone's going to get a chance to play and that sort of thing. And the final thing I do was I was making sure to be really proactive in my communication throughout this whole thing, even though there was a lot of changes going on. I made sure to be proactive in the communication, so I sent out a email on the email list to all of the parents to let them know that the location has changed so they could come to the right location. And I also proactively went around the different classes about half an hour before and to tell the teachers to take them to the AstroTurf instead of taking them to the football pitch. So that's the situation now where I was being proactive, taking the lead and sort of adapting to those different situations and maintaining clear communication the whole way. And the result of it was that we successfully managed to hold a successful football tournament. Everyone was really happy. Actually, one of the teams ended up sort of we had two runners up or something, and it was everyone just had a really good day. So it was really good to see that. And they sort of taught me adaptability, taking ownership, taking accountability, and sort of thinking on my feet. And those are the kind of skills I know are going to be useful at your company Accenture, because I know you deal with innovations, new technologies, so I know there's going to be a lot of change going on. When I'm working on projects, maybe some requirements change, maybe some new technology comes in. I'm going to use those adaptability skills to handle those changes as best as possible and deliver the best results for the company. So that's the time when I was adaptable. Something like that I think would be decent. I made all that up on the spot, but it's essentially your actions. I drew it out into more stuff rather than just as the only action being I found us another pitch. It was I found us another pitch, and I like had to adapt the rules or something. You probably wouldn't do like a 4x4 football game's ridiculous. Like you're not playing FIFA Street, are you? Right? So maybe you like tweak that slightly, but like it's not just one action. That's the point I'm trying to make. You want to go for like 3 to 5 actions. So I found a new site. Okay, I changed the rules and I was quick on the decision making. I was clear on communication. That's another good one. That's directly relevant to a degree of apprenticeship. So there you go. I've got 3 actions. So essentially, it's the same situation as like that you said that I said, but it's just they think I'm more adaptable because I just mentioned more of the adaptability stuff that I did. Okay. Also, the result section, that was another thing. Your result was quite vague from my memory. I think you just said, like, oh, yeah, so the staff and students were very happy. I really like, and I say people, it's a simple thing, but in your results section, just say the word success or successful. So it's like you said, oh, yes, we ran the tournament and the students were happy. I would sort of say we successfully completed the tournament and the students were really happy with the outcome of it. We're saying the same thing, but it's like I'm saying the word success and also same thing as before. I'm putting more energy into it, so it's like it seems like the staff and students were very happy with it. Right? You know what I mean? I'm saying yes, we had a great success. It was really good to see the children really enjoyed it or whatever it is, right? Just the results section be a bit more sort of on it with that in terms of yeah, make it a bit more exciting, a bit more successful. And finally, at the end there, what Hamza did there was I call it a relate section, so everyone knows star as like why am I even talking about this? Let me just pull up this situation, task, action, result. Situation, task, action, result. Just ignore all this stuff up here. Situation, task, action, result. Basically, what I tell people to do is add in a relate. So essentially, it's like this is what everyone else is doing, but then you can do this final one. It's going to make you better. And what it is where you relate what you learnt here to the job you're applying for and to the job you're going to do, right? So rather than just saying, oh, yep, so I successfully had a good tournament. Thank you for listening. It's like, okay, that's just a random story about football. Why should I care? Well, you're gonna directly tell the interviewer why they should care. Oh, and during this scenario, I actually learned adaptability skills and being able to think on my feet, and I'm going to use those when faced with challenging situations at Accenture to ensure I can deliver project work on time, to requirements, and to a high quality. Concluding sentence. So that's the time when I. What am I even answering here? So that was the time when I had to use my adaptability skills. I think that was it. Yeah. So essentially, it's like this is like the normal structure that everyone on TikTok uses. And this is the structure any of you legends watching on YouTube are going to do. You're going to do this. So you're adding in that relate, talking about the skills you learn and how they're going to help you at that company, and then you're also going to do a concluding sentence. Okay? Deviate from that at your peril. It's probably not that serious, but yeah. I mean, it helped me, so maybe it'll help you too. How do you work in a team? Interesting one. Yeah, they do sometimes ask that. That's a weird one.
So for to working with different types of people. Volunteering at my local food bank has really exposed me to a variety of different types of people who work with different styles. And I also think it's important that I also think that communication is really important, and where people are strong and weak, and assigning roles correctly. And as someone who is very accustomed to teamwork, I believe that um, people being assigned proper roles is important.
Let's do that one more time because that was quite a short answer.
So for me, to working with different types of people, volunteering at my local food bank has really exposed me to a variety of different types of people who work with different styles. And I also think it's important that I also think that communication is really important, and where people are strong and weak, and assigning roles correctly. And as someone who is very accustomed to teamwork, I believe that um, people being assigned proper roles is important.
Okay, essentially like to say more. Like that's all there is to say here. So let me pull up a thing. Let's brainstorm this together. So this is essentially what you said. Yeah, let's just cook this up. You can do way more than this. How do you work in a team? Okay, so the first thing that when I'm working in a team is I like to go in with an open mind. Is that legit? I like to go with an open mind. I don't know. Okay, first thing is I like to connect with people, and I want to like this. Bro, I can't speak English, man. You want to connect with people. I'm waffling. Let's just do this legit, okay? Okay, so the first thing you do, how do I work in a team? Well, the first thing I do when I work in a team is I always have clear communication with people as much as possible so that I know what's going on, so that they know what's going on. And then you can give an example of a time when you've given clear communication, okay? Another thing that I always do when I'm working as a team is I try and sort of connect with the individuals as much as possible. So it's not just a case of, oh, I need to work on a task with you, I'm going to work on it. I also want to find out about you, maybe introduce myself, learn about you, learn about your strengths and this sort of thing. And I really think having this like connecting as team members really helps that sense of unity. I know, for example, at JLR, one of the values of your company is unity. And it's this kind of collaborating, unifying working culture that I'm excited to be a part of. Okay, and for example, I can tell you about a time when I was doing work experience and we had to start a task and everyone just went straight into it. But I sort of just paused for a second. I suggested everyone sort of introduce each other. Everyone just give yourself like a couple of strengths of yours, and this actually really helped the group mesh because now there was a bit of camaraderie, there was a bit of chemistry between everyone rather than just sort of working on the task. So that's the sort of connection that I really look for. Okay, that's like another point you can make there. Okay, and then you can say something like respectful, um, of I don't know people from different backgrounds or something. I mean, it's not like you're not going to be respectful, so it's kind of like a stupid point to say, but it's like these are the it's kind of rubbish that companies like to hear, right? Another okay, this is a crucial one. This is a really crucial one. How do you work in a team? I'm always like to include people's opinions, give them time to speak, and really listen. And this is where you can just waffle out the park, mate. So yeah, and another thing I like to do when I'm working in a team is really include other people's opinions. Like I really think when we can include other people's opinions, it can make for great results. I think because we have those different perspectives from different people, that's where we can have the most innovation. So I'd make sure that when I'm working within a team, I'm giving everyone time to speak, and in particular, I'm listening. Like I'm really listening when they're talking. I'm listening. I'm asking clarifying questions afterwards to try and really understand their point of view. And even if I disagree, I want to listen to them because maybe I'm wrong about something. Maybe they're providing a devil's advocate that's going to really help. So I think sort of having that attitude of passing things onto each other, giving everyone time to speak. I think that really helps with sort of that culture of innovation and collaboration and coming up with great ideas. And actually, a time when I did this was this, and then go and do an example. Okay, then you can talk about assigning roles. Like it's good to have people having good roles, but I also think it's good for people to learn. So maybe we'll have people assigned to roles that really help them, but also is there an opportunity for someone to learn something new, someone to grow? Can they go and watch someone else? That's something I like to do a lot when I'm working in a team. Can I support someone else? Maybe there's a younger apprentice who I can show them how to do this task I'm doing so that they can go and do it in future. Or is there someone else? I really care about my own development. If they're doing a task I don't know how to do, could I go and shadow them and sort of learn that so I can go and do that in future and add value to the business? Like, there's so many different points you could do, and it's like do it and then just give an example of you doing it after each one. So this is sort of a weird question. I don't really like these questions. How do you work in a team, or like how do you keep yourself motivated? They're sort of questions which like you have to think about because it's like I mean this is me. Maybe you guys disagree, but how do I work in a team? I just do, right? Like I just do. How do I keep myself motivated? Like I just do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna start talking to the interview about like David Goggins or anything, am I? Like I'm just not gonna do that, right? I just do keep myself like what's another one? How do you like manage your priorities? Like I just do. Like there's nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like that part of me just wants to like. There's nothing to say, which is why you kind of have these kind of questions. It's good to prepare in advance, just because if they ask you these in the interview and you've never heard them before, you're going to be like, yeah, I just do. Like, what do you want me to say here? So it's questions like, how do you stay motivated? How do you solve problems, or how do you approach problems? How what was the one I just said before? How do you manage like different priorities, or how do you manage your time and all this sort of stuff? It's like I've got nothing to say to you, but I'm just going to make up some waffle, and this is probably the best format to do it in. You probably wouldn't say all of that, but again, it's like a lot of interview answers. The sweet spot's like 3 or 4 points, maybe 3 points, 3 points, an example after each one of maybe a time when you've done it before. Because by the time you finish that example, they've had like this question, they've had 3 examples of you working well in a team. Okay, there's pretty good evidence now that you're a good team worker, and they want someone for their company who is a good team worker. Hold on. Okay, what's the next question? Tell me your biggest weakness. Yeah, go for it, man. Take it away.
So for me, I would say that my
The video's lagging. Hold on.
and this can be a problem when working in a team of people with different skills.
Hold on.
So for me, I would say that my to a high standard, and this can be a problem when working in a team of people with different skills and strengths in different areas. And however, I feel that I have counteracted this weakness by strong communication skills and developing strong relationships. For example, during my time at the local food bank, it became evident that some people had strengths in different areas and were able to. Some people were better at multitasking. Some people were better dealing with the health and safety guidelines. However, with strong communication and developing strong relationships, we were able to identify where everyone was strong and where everyone was weak, and we assigned correct roles. And I understand that. However, whenever I do see that I have a weakness, I always work on it and work closely with my team to further develop, which has allowed me to continuously grow in my studies, in my sports, and just professionally.
Yeah, so it keeps cutting out. I just want to see if I can understand it one more time. Let's see.
To a high standard, and my big to a high standard, and this. So for me, I would say that my big to a high standard, and this can be a problem.
I think it might be hold my team to too high a standard. I could be reaching for it there. Let me just do this one more time. By the way, feel free to like skip 30 seconds or something, or skip like 60 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear this answer again. I'm just trying to work out what's being said here.
So for me, I would say that my to a high standard, and this can be a problem when working in a team of people with different skills and strengths in different areas. And however, I feel that I have counteracted this weakness by strong communication skills and developing strong relationships. For example, during my time at the local food bank, it became evident that some people had strengths in different areas and were able to. Some people were better at multitasking. Some people were better dealing with the health and safety guidelines. However, with strong communication and developing strong relationships, we were able to identify.
Okay, Yeah, I'm just gonna guess what I think it was. I think it is like holding my team members to too high a standard, and it's like, but I now realize that people have different strengths and weaknesses, so I shouldn't hold them to their like specific strengths. So I try and like focus on the no, sorry, I shouldn't hold them to their weaknesses. I should focus on their strengths and utilize those. And we use communication skills to do that. Okay, so the problem with this answer is the key. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. The questions tell me about a time when you had no, bro, I'm waffling so hard. The question is, what is your biggest weakness? Why am I literally doubting myself right now? Yeah, tell me your biggest weakness, okay? The questions tell me your biggest weakness. Tell me your biggest weakness. Your answer was, my biggest thing is like, I'm going to guess it is holding my team to too high a standard. But this is something I've sorted out now because at volunteering, we we like allocated people roles based on their strengths. Roles based on their strengths. Okay, what that tells me is you have a weakness and you still have it because it was we, right? It wasn't you doing anything, it was we. Okay, so what you need to do is basically my weakness is holding my team to too high a standard, right? But this is something I'm better at now. This is something I've sorted out now because at volunteering I recognize people's unique contributions and allocate people roles based on their strengths. Same thing, but I've just changed the word I to we. No, sorry, I've changed the word we to I. When you say we, this basically tells me, okay, nothing, you did nothing here. Congratulations, everyone else in your group did it, okay? Now it's you taking responsibility. Oh, I did it. Oh, okay, fair enough. You did it. That's good. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Now, to make this more compelling, you could go into your weakness a bit more. Your weakness was very quick. It was like, oh, and I hold people to too high a standard, but this is something I've sorted out now. No, go into more detail, man. Make it more compelling. Like, I hold my team to too high a standard. For example, there was a time I remember we did this like presentation thing in like year six, and like when people weren't like this thing in year six, when people were too scared to do a class presentation, I was sort of getting almost annoyed. I was getting really frustrated that these people didn't want to go and do the presentation. I mean, I was happy doing it, so I ended up doing the whole thing, but it's something that kind of frustrated me. But it's something that I've learned now, and I've been working on. I've learned it recently over the past couple of years, which is like people do have different strengths. Some people communication's their thing, some people it's not their thing. And I sort of realized, yeah, communication's my thing. I have strong communication. Some people don't, and it's something I've learned to accept more. So now I sort of recognize people's unique contributions. So if someone's really good at this, we can sort of utilize those strengths to have the best results, and that means I can allocate people roles based on their strengths. And I actually did this recently when we were working on a project in year 12. Instead of sort of shoving people into the different roles just based on what they needed to be, I sort of adapted to it. I adapted to the resources that were available. I adapted to people's strengths, put them in the roles they were needed, and then I helped fill in the gaps. So, for example, again, in this presentation, no one wanted to do the talking, no one wanted to present in front of 30 people. So I stepped in and did it. So that's what my weakness there. Holding my team to too high a standard and thinking everyone is like amazing, like has 100% strengths at everything. But it's something I've learned to accept, and it's something I've learned to adapt now. And now I'm much better at working in a team and sort of recognizing each other's unique contributions to help us achieve our goal. Okay, you see how that was a bit more compelling because I'm sort of comparing it. So my weakness was saying I'd focus too much on the details or perfectionist or something like that. And I'd give an example. Also, I remember doing a geography exam in year 10, and I didn't even finish the whole paper because I spent so long on the first 3 mark, 7 mark questions because I just wanted to get so many details, so many statistics, so many facts in. I didn't even have time for like the 30 mark questions at the end. And I got a really bad mark that I didn't want to get. And this is something I worked on. And then year 11, when I did my geography exam, then I made sure to discipline myself to do the level of detail that was required, not go above and beyond, just do what was required to a high quality, stick to the schedule, and I actually managed to complete the whole thing, and I ended up getting a high mark, and I increased my grade by like 30% or something. Like, that's compelling because I've given you the before, I've given you the after. So essentially, that's like 3 levels almost of weakness question. That is like bad because it's telling me nothing about you, right? This is good because now it's telling about how you've improved. This is even better because now you're not just telling me you've improved, you're like describing me how you've improved in like a really compelling story. Hold on, I'm just getting something up. I don't know why, but I just had this random thought, right? This is, by the way, this is nothing to do with the video. I just had this thought. I like found out about these paintings like today, right? These are like the coolest paintings I've ever seen. Like I literally want to go and get these paintings. There's this guy who did this painting. This one's called the Savage. Is it called the Savage? I think it's called the Savage State, and it's like 5 different periods of history. Okay, so this is like when everyone's savages, right? And then everyone starts to like settle down. It's like little communities, like people dancing, little fire, a little bit of a temple sort of thing. That's the pastoral state. Then there's the consummation, where like society's fully built, and then it's like disrupt, and then just it all falls down, just like Rome. Rome built itself up. Rome was like a great empire, and then it all completely fell. And this is the destruction. Everything's going. People are getting murdered. All this sort of stuff. Everything's on fire, and then eventually it just becomes the desolation, which is this is like almost like post-apocalyptic. Like you might have seen this sort of stuff in films, and I'll be honest, that's got nothing to do with the video. That thought popped into my head. I thought it was cool. Those paintings are cool. I just thought you might want to know. Um, yeah, I should probably edit that out of the video. You know, who cares? I'll just leave it in, man. Okay, Hamza. So definitely not terrible. Stop saying to be honest, I didn't really notice Maybe you were saying a lot. I didn't really notice it, to be honest. So it's work and practice. Couple of those near the end. I think there's like maybe these 3 down here. I would say work on the things you're saying. There's stuff you need to improve. We've gone through in this video. These first 2, what you were saying was perfect. It's now sort of energy, and that's throughout the whole thing. It's like eye contact, which I don't know if it was good or not, but it's like energy, passion, and those are the biggest things. So answers for those last 3, answers and delivery for all of them. No, bro, I literally can't speak English, man. Delivery for all of them, and then answers for these last 3. Okay, let's see what everyone else has said. More enthusiasm, facts. Yeah, Cyril, we did a previous video on. So if you want to go and see like the opposite, so Hamza was like really low energy. Cyril was like super high energy. So Cyril was almost like too much energy. So it's now you want to find a mix between Cyril, between Hamza. There you go. That's the good one. Yeah, warmth, 100%. So I think I filmed a video about this like yesterday, which should be up now. I can't remember what I called it. It was something like, let's just find it. Unusual advice, but it'll help you the most. And it was like, yeah, sure, get competent, have good answers, have good experiences, but also like you're going to go and work in their workplace. You're going to be their colleague. They're almost like, not like you're going to be friends with them, but you're going to be friendly with them. So they want someone who's got a bit of warmth, a bit of personality. So it's like, for example, okay, this is like a bad example, right? But they're more based on personality. They're gonna more want to hire me from my personality. No. From a personality perspective, the personality I've got in this YouTube video is more conducive to getting an offer than the personality you had in this video. Not personality. That's sorry, the wrong word. But like energy. Okay, so it's like almost aim for the energy of a YouTube video. Probably slightly less than a YouTube video, depending on if it's like a Jake Paul YouTube video or like a I don't know Geo Wizard or an Ali Law. You know what I mean? But it's like yeah, warmth, smile. Like a key thing is smiling. Honestly, people take it too seriously, but that's another video, so I won't talk about that loads now. Yeah, great experience, good structure, passion, interest, absolutely. Drive motivation, absolutely. Cool. I hope that helped, guys. If anyone wants me to do any similar videos on their video interviews, all you have to do is click the link in the description, request to join. When I see a thing, I'll like admin, like click you in or whatever, and you can go make a post. Hope you find this video useful. If you want to see more videos like this, leave a comment down below and let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.